deep in the heart of Texas.
We're in the business of winning.
Don't bet against me.
I don't bet anyway.
Lose your life.
But you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. We're live with Michael Jordan Fans Are the Best with the Be a Fan podcast, where fans get their opportunity to say their often unheard amazing takes. And today we've got a usual suspect, NMB Sports Nick. How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Oh God, I got my YouTube on in the background. I just started going.
That's all right.
Anyway. But yeah, so we'll start off with this because I just saw that you put a new video out with you stream sniping the Universe Galaxy. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, it's kind of funny. You want to talk a little bit about it first?
Yeah, I mean, Galaxy's just this guy that I've had a beef with for a while, and just sometimes when I'm streaming or if I'm making a video or if I think he's making ridiculous points, like I'll record him and comment on it, or sometimes I'll even call in, but he's even recognized my voice to this point, so I can't even get away with just calling in and, you know, what have you. But yeah, it's fun. He's funny to toy with, kind of.
Yeah, because I remember y'all were talking. I forget if it was on a live stream or if I just saw it in a comment thread, but I guess this had happened a week or two ago or something. And you're talking about how a lot of guys from the show just came in and mobbed his chat, and then he blocked everybody or kicked everyone out or something like that.
Yeah, I was impressed with the support. So it was definitely pretty funny. That's for sure.
Yeah. What's up, Michael? But yeah, I get outside of that. So just to talk to you a little bit about your perspective. I know that you're a big Mavs fan, a big Dirk fan, and I was curious about what do you think Dirk's impact is or has been on the modern NBA and how it's played today.
Yeah. So I thought about this a little bit, and you know what? I mentioned this actually once on, I can't remember what it was, but I was making the joke that, you know, Dirk's nickname should have been the mismatch, right? Like, basketball's a game of matchups. Anyone who's been around knows that. I think Dirk was just the ultimate mismatch. I think it was really interesting to watch different players or teams throw certain things at him throughout his career and in games and in playoff series, that kind of thing. I think he got so many different looks from the defense because he was so tough to handle. You know, but honestly, a lot of people say that he changed the game. I think a more proper term would be like the word unique or unicorn, right? Or the ultimate mismatch, like I said. I just think he was so unique. He was almost like, I don't want to say what was so unique about him, obviously, was being a big man who could shoot, but it was almost like he was an offensive gimmick that, like, because obviously defense, there's a little bit to complain about, right? But on the offensive end, it was almost like he was an offensive gimmick. And I think about that a lot, how I can't really think of a whole lot of teams that simply just had one guy dominate the offensive end so much and kind of win a title. I'm sure there's some out there, right? But one guy, only offensive player, methodical too, though, not necessarily some crazy athletic guy, but methodical. And I don't know. I just think unique and sort of the ultimate mismatch is the way I think his legacy should be looked at. Changing the game is I hear people say that a lot. I don't really, I know what they mean, but there's been plenty of big men who could shoot. Being a true 7-footer beyond the 3-point arc is definitely something new, right? With that amount of volume, but there's been plenty of big guys who could shoot, mid-range game, all three levels, so I understand what they say when they say he changed the game. That's like kind of his legacy that people talk about, but I just think he was so unique. And really, he was just a unicorn. He's kind of like a guy you'd make on NBA 2K as a joke back in the day. And yeah, it was just really fun to watch him work. Really control the tempo, right? People talk about like Luka and certain guys and how much they control the tempo. Being a Mavs fan and watching Dirk, it was so interesting to watch. Again, I kind of said it, how the defense would focus so much on him, give him little guys, big guys in between. It was really fun to watch, and he was just so good at what he did. He could get, obviously his ace in the holes. He can get a shot off anytime, anywhere on the floor, right? So that's just kind of my thoughts on it. I was thinking about it today, so yeah, that's kind of what I came to the conclusion of.
Yeah, I think Dirk was absolutely amazing. Since you brought it up, you're talking about somebody that was kind of a unicorn for what they did, but you put the asterisk of that won a title. So one guy I've been talking about recently that had all the defense have a lot of attention on him is Allen Iverson, but he was never able to get over the edge. And if Dirk didn't win that title, I feel like he would have been. And I've said this before on my show, and this is just a general opinion I have. People that are great players aren't going to ever be recognized the way that they possibly could have, is if they were able to seal the deal and win a championship. If Allen Iverson had won a championship, he does get a lot of respect either way by most people. However, he would have been regarded, I believe, as a better overall talent if he had won.
Yeah, it's legacy defining stuff, Sort of, you can either love it or hate it. That's just kind of the way it is, right?
Where would you say he ranks in the big men of the 2000s and 2010s? Like, if you had to put a number on it,
we're talking strictly
outside of
4 and
personal
5s,
bias.
power forwards and centers.
Yeah, 4 and 5s.
Man, that's a good question. So that would include Shaq. I'm definitely gonna miss some big men here. That would include Tim Duncan. I guess KG would be up there as well, all time. Malone doesn't really count. Karl Malone. Giannis is up there now. If we're gonna count all the way up to modern day, he's up there. He's got to be top 5, right? I would think. Obviously, Duncan and Shaq are the two that are clearly over him. You could argue Garnett. A lot of people put them neck and neck. They're kind of always together. So top 4, I don't know. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. If we're going to count like Jokic and Giannis, there's an argument to be made there, I think, now, especially the fact that they'll play out some more years in the league. Who knows what else they might do. Embiid, I don't think's quite eclipsed him yet. Man, I feel like I'm missing some people here, like some obvious 4 and 5s. Did you have anyone else in mind?
Not. I think you named the usual suspects. I would put him in the top 5. I personally would put him over KG. Probably not in a one-on-one game, but in respect to just the career and the legacy, I would put him over him. Giannis, I kind of don't really count it. Like, I feel like Dirk had a bigger longevity during that time versus Jokic and Giannis, just because they've only been in there, being on top for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ish. But so Tim had made a comment. He said before that the TUG is a troll. He's insulting Jordan supporters all the time, and then he thinks that's a high class argument. And then he said hi, and then he says, "I mean, Galaxy is insulting during his live streams very, very often. You cannot see that in the uploaded videos. He deletes the streams with the name callings and uploads only the soft videos." Just to clarify. And then Tim asked Michael, "Did you watch his live streams with all that name calling?" So just for the people in the audience, I had asked well I wasn't going to specifically address that, but just for the purpose of the show, I had asked Nick to give me some questions as well. So if you want to just if you feel like we're at a lull, please feel free to ask the questions.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So
Mhm.
this is like a very broad, open-ended question. So you can answer it however you want. But what is your singular favorite thing about the game of basketball? It can be going and watching a game. It could be playing. It could be any number of things.
So my singular favorite thing about basketball is that you can play so many games with it that I feel that you can't with other sports, and you can just do it by yourself. So essentially, I feel there's a lot of versatility to having fun with it, and you don't need a lot of space. So that's more than one, but in one thing is that there's so much versatility of how to have fun with it. Because if you're by yourself, you can do trick shots. Like let's say you football, you got to have a team. You got to be able to throw it to somebody, unless you throw it in a trash can
Right.
or something like that. But
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Relatively cheap too, all things considered. I mean, shoes are probably the most expensive thing, right? So, but yeah, yeah, 100%. I never thought about the aspect of how there's so many games like 21, 2-on-2, horse. Like, yeah, there's tons of stuff you play all the time with it. Yeah, 100%.
And when you play teams, when like that versus a lot of team sports, you have to play as a team, and then a lot of one-on-one sports you can't play as a team either. So like if you're into combat sports, which is mostly one-on-one sports, um, you can't really just unless you're doing pro wrestling or something like that. You can't really have a 2-on-2 fight. It doesn't really work like that. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I think just the versatility with that. But okay, yeah. What about you? What's your favorite thing about basketball?
Like obviously playing in semi-serious or like highly competitive games. There's nothing quite like that. But to sort of take it a different route, I have about 5 or 6 years of coaching experience. Anywhere from like as young as like elementary kids to junior high and even some freshman sophomore kids. Um, there's really nothing quite like coaching and seeing a kid progress, or even if all you can do is show them one or two things before you kind of tell them like, look, like you're on your way. Like if I was you, I would just do this one or two things, like a session or two, or even if it's a kid that you've instructed for years and like he goes from not getting a lot of playing time to being like all-star level in his respective league, whatever it is. And, like his dad will send you a video. And this has literally happened to me. That's why I say it. Like his dad sent me a video of him hitting this, essentially what ended up being a game-winning shot where like he pump faked the guy, the bigger guy, right? He took it to the hole. He pump faked him and then kind of up and under for, even though it wasn't like at the last second, ended up being the like last shot made in the game. It's like smaller kids, right? And so just seeing him do that and like their parents are so excited. Like coaching is really cool thing that if you have the ability to do it, if you know anything about the game, like you should definitely do it for a season or something. Like it's really cool experience like for kids and parents all around, stuff like that. Especially if you love the game, right? And you know it. You don't have to be athletic. You can be 50 and go coach a game or anything like that. First time I ever coached, they volunteered me because they finally had enough kids for like a B squad, essentially like 4th grade or 5th grade, something like that. And it was like the first year I had taken my son, it might have been a little earlier, to go play as well. And so they were like, hey, we have enough people for a second team, which has never happened at this place. And like, essentially they need a coach. And I was like, I'll do it, like, screw it. It was a ton of fun, man. And ever since then I did it for a few years after that as well. So my dad also coached me, also, which is really cool. So yeah, I would say coaching though, besides actually playing the game as a competitor, coaching's really cool. It's a really cool aspect of the game, especially like from, coaching kids' point of view.
Yeah, I I don't know if I can do it, man. I like at least the little kids, because I got kids of my own, and I went and maybe it's just my kid, and also just me and my personality that just I don't have the patience for it, man.
Yeah.
Like when they start, like especially the little kids when they're whining and crying and stuff like that. Oh, it's hard, or I don't want to do this. It's like, well, guess what? You're gonna do it, or and judge 'em, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's how I feel. Like I don't really have patience for it, which is a fault of mine. I'm just not really. I don't think it's for me. Granted, I haven't tried it, so I'm sure it's rewarding, just like being a parent, where you're like, some days you're like, man, I hate this, and then some days you're like, oh, this is the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some parallels with that. I just haven't taken the plunge with it.
Yeah, and the first year I coached those kids at the Y, I mean, it was kind of obvious I got kind of like the leftover bunch or whatever, right? But the first year we didn't win a single game. We went like 0-10 or something like that. And the first game of the next year, I had those same kids, and we ended up going like 500, right? And it was just like the kids were stoked, the parents were stoked. They're like, I never thought you guys would ever go 500 in like the second season. So like, it's really fun. And yeah, like you're right. One thing I learned is you have to sort of change how you talk to competitive, like high level junior high kids versus, you know, Sally who's in third grade and comes and plays kind of for fun. You have to kind of keep that in mind. Like, what level are these kids at? Like, who can I push and who do I need to make it fun for, or something like that? You know what I mean? And you kind of have to do it that way, right? There's some kids you can go real hard at. You know, they love it. They love being pushed. They love being called out. There's some kids that are wired like that even at a young age. But yeah, there's some kids where you're like, okay, here's what we're gonna do now. The ball's gonna go up, and we need you to go get it. You know, like there's different kids you can push. But yeah, patience is definitely a big thing with little kids. I mean, they are 100 miles an hour, and like first thing I always do too is, you know, I ask the parents, usually dads, you know, but I ask the parents, I was like, hey, if we do drills, I need you guys, can you guys do just this little thing or that little thing, right? That's a big way to like, that's almost half the work, to be honest. If you can get a parent or two helping you coach kids, just sort of like wrangling cats, right, is really all it is. So yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Let me just talk, or let me just bring up what the audience is bringing up, because it's just all universe galaxy things. So I let me just be a good host and bring this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think is the issue with why do you think so? Actually, let me start with this. So I started talking with Universe Galaxy, and I was inspired to make this page through his page. Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time.
Yeah.
Used to go on his page, and I joke around, and he would bring up some silly things, and I would just go and I would say Michael Jordan fans are the best, because I mean they are the best. Even if you think of it in a negative or positive light, like if you go and you say, if you believe everything he says and that all Michael Jordan fans do this, that, or everything, for one, that shows you're a great fan. Secondly, if you don't believe that, it's still the biggest basketball fandom in the world. So it's a no-brainer. They're the best fans. And then I had asked Nick, I interviewed him, and I started the channel, and I'd seen stuff where he was saying he wanted to debate him, and I tried to set it up. Long story short, it took a while to get that done, and then eventually we were able to get it done. And he accused Nick of doing nefarious things, of essentially
they're all silly things.
Getting his channel deleted by putting graphic things on his website. And I was like, and then he had asked me to go and what do you call it? Flag Nick's channel because of the debate that they had that I hosted. Because he called me afterwards and was like, hey man, you shouldn't put that video up on your website. And I was about to, and he's like, well, I said some things on there and somebody might try to ban your page or get your stuff jacked up. So I was like, all right, man, thanks. Good looking out. I appreciate it because, he was talking with me and I thought he was just trying to be a friend and a mentor through YouTube. So I was like, thanks, man. He's like, but you know what you should do? You should report NNB's page. And I was like, why, man? I'm like, and he's like, well, he stole your stuff. I'm like, well, I wasn't going to put it up, and I'm like, if somebody wants to ban his page, then, that's up, that's his decision. And I ended up reaching out to you, telling you why I didn't want to put it up. It was because of that.
Yeah, and I've been pretty like upfront with you too about certain stuff. Like, hey, is it okay if I do this? Are you okay with that? Like that kind of stuff. So like, and you also told me to show you, or because he had also accused me of doing the same thing, correct? Like also flagging people, and I like immediately sent you a picture of my like your history. You can show your flagged history or something. And I immediately sent you a picture of it, and I was like, look, here's the 2 or 3 videos I've ever flagged that were essentially for like sexual reasons, right? And that was it. And in terms of that, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Definitely silly. It's funny though.
Yeah, I never got a I don't think, if you did send the picture to me, I don't remember you sending it to me, but I I didn't really believe, like I didn't, I was talking with him, but obviously he's kind of a shady guy, so I really just didn't like take him at face value about anything. And then immediately after I didn't ban or try to ban the thing, I had invited you back on the live stream, and then he decided that I was a terrible person and didn't want to talk to me anymore. And he wouldn't explain why. And then he started blocking me. So I was like, you know what? I'm like, whatever the truth is, yeah, I believe you over him, because to me, you've been transparent. I don't feel like you've been making things up. But as the video that you put up with him, doxing people and threatening, you know what I mean? And then obviously for the people that have been on his live stream, y'all know how he talks, you know how he acts with people. And then he pretends like he's the good guy, like that he doesn't talk to people nasty and block them and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess, so why, I didn't really want it to become this, but
it's fine. I don't care. Give the people what they want. That's what I say.
Yeah, I'm going to give the people what they want.
Give them what they want.
I think it's a long time coming.
Oh shit, so funny.
But I got a question for you. Why have you decided to harass him so much?
Because he needs to be brought to heel. That's why. He's running around saying ridiculous shit. Like he's literally said Jordan's not top 100. People come on and say the most ridiculous stuff about Jordan, and he won't do anything, and he's just out of line. Like he's just out of line. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. And like what I also hate is this, right? I think we can all agree it's like a shtick, right? I think for he might not like Jordan. He might think Jordan is overrated. There's no way in his heart of hearts that he thinks Jordan is not top 100, right? Like we all know it's a shtick in terms of the like extreme angles he comes at it from, right? My thing is like I'm playing along. Like he wants the attention. He wants people to call him out for it. He thinks he can out angle and out argue everybody. And like you can tell I love to debate. Like basketball's almost in the background as much as you're just trying to like logically outmaneuver someone, right? When they're debating, right? So like in my opinion, like I'm giving him exactly what he wants. He just doesn't like that I beat him at it, and like I know what he's gonna say, and I have a rebuttal, and I've gone over like the way he argues and stuff. It just doesn't make any sense, doesn't hold any weight, and like yeah, so like I don't mind trolling him, right? Like he's looking for a response, he's getting it, right? And he just doesn't like that. In my opinion, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but like I'm showing him up, I'm funnier. It's just more entertainment, right? And he doesn't like that. I think I'm stealing his spotlight a little bit. And I'm not afraid of him, and I can logically keep up with him and play his games or whatever he does, right? Whatever you want to call what he does, right? And that's just it. Like to me, it's funny. Like that's all it is to me at this point. He needs to be reined in. He's way out of line, right? And So that's the main thing, right? If you want to say I'm harassing him, like, I mean, yeah, you could say I'm trolling him, right? But he's asking for it. Like, that's definitely part of his shtick. The other thing is this, and then I'll let you reply. He makes it about Michael Jordan fans, right? And he uses that to sort of bring down Jordan, like, because there's no way you think he's not top 100, right? And he beats around the bush and all this stuff. This is why he doesn't want to rank the more elite top players, because he doesn't want to start getting into the weeds of like having to defend how Jordan's not at least top 10 or 5, etc. The thing is, like, is it the fans or is it Jordan? Correct? Because he kind of rolls them into one, right? Oops, sorry. He kind of rolls them into one, and he uses it to bring down Jordan, and that's why I find it fun, because there's just no way you can say that stuff about Jordan and get away with it, right? It's comical. It's ludicrous, right? And so you're also, like you said, the biggest fandom in the world for basketball, at least, if not definitely one of the biggest in the world in terms of just a singular athlete, any sport. There's a lot of people to draw off of. There's a lot of bias you could point out. Maybe some of the stuff does supersede who he was or what have you, but you then like use that to act as if him being the GOAT is then negated or it doesn't count because you found a few crazies or a few bad polls or something like that. And it's like, well, therefore I guess he can't be it's like, I don't know, dude. It's really irritating, but I also find it funny. He really like goes down the rabbit hole bad. If you just mention my name, he'll probably like spiral for 10 or 20 minutes. No joke. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely hilarious. I mean, I did a reaction video. I know you saw it, but for the people who didn't, and it's not that I think that anything he's saying has a ton of merit to it. He just plays these games of circle. He does circles around things, and he tries to dance around things, or he'll just say the same thing over and over again. And I just think it's the funniest thing in the world, and that's what hooked me into it. It's not because I, was like, I hate Michael Jordan fans. I just thought it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. Yeah, that's why I started watching his show. It's just because he wouldn't shut up about it, and it just was over and like every day.
Yeah. And he's so over the top about it. That's why I don't feel bad about it. And I don't feel like I'm over the line at all when I like make a new account and, I enter his chat and troll him, or if I keep calling in. Cause like he's obviously, he does prank phone calls too, right? So like this is obviously part of his like shtick, right? So like I'm trying to call in and I'm up to the task. I'm up for the challenge, right? Like I see a guy who's willing to engage and kind of go into the deep end a little bit, and I'm like, all right, I'm up for it. And then you kind of get him once or twice and he takes his ball and goes home, man. Like it's just I that's why I once told him, and he says this a lot, I once told him I would have more respect for you if you just didn't talk to me, right, at all, because every time you do, you just come off looking sour and bad, and you can't like. The other thing is this. He only keeps on people who don't know what they're talking about and get lost in the weeds, and he'll keep those people on forever, and he'll let them talk and talk. But as soon as he hears me and I get one sentence out, it's hanging up. He won't do it. He kicks me and stuff like that. It's really funny, but I don't know. We'll see. I would love to debate him again and actually get into it. He didn't really even last time was bad showing.
The thing, and when I debated him, if y'all didn't know, I debated him about if Michael Jordan fans were the best versus if Michael Jordan fans were the worst.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know I debated him?
Do you have a copy of it somewhere?
Yeah, it's on my page. It's
cool. All right. I'll go check it
out. But I think it's hilarious, and he actually was pretty nice, although he did start trying to character attack me, but I was just like, whatever, man. Whatever. But anyway, but the thing with what he does to talk about how he brings only certain people in is that he'll have his page and he'll let people come on and argue their points to him, but then he'll block, for one, he'll block them ultimately, or he'll put them backstage and not let them talk, and then talk over them essentially by saying, oh, you see what these Michael Jordan fans do. They just say this, that, or the other thing, and you've been being bad. You're not nice. Show me some respect, X name here. All right, welcome back.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is funny because he's bipolar, or I'm not saying he is bipolar. Like it's probably
That's
just
how he
all a shtick.
acts. Yeah.
But
The other thing he
it is.
says is, watch, you're going to ignore, he'll make like 5 points. He'll go, watch, you're going to ignore everything I said and just say whatever, right? He does that with he really, I think he so bad wants to be like a wrestling heel, but he just gets out healed by everyone else because he can't like keep it going. You know what I mean? So the people who can come in, if they're witty and they're good, I've seen it before, he loses it, right? And he can't, he doesn't really get what he's not. If this is a shtick, right? He's not like fully embracing it, right? He's like, so you can tell there's something there. Like he has to not actually like Jordan. He must. I don't know what it is. He's a Knicks fan or something, but there's something there, and I would love to if a psychologist could get him for a couple hours or a couple weeks and be like, what is it about Jordan? What is it? Tell us.
I think he's just a complete instigator. I think he's a troll. It outside of just him doing this, I think that I think because he is a prank caller, because he'll go and he'll say things like Michael Jordan's not top 100. I don't think if I had to say, I don't think he cares. I think he just likes the attention. I think he likes to draw people in and have the arguments. Um, Now, I do think there's something wrong with him that he's got to like he keeps wanting to do it and then he'll block people and then freak out. Like so I'm not saying like it's um all, not internally based or what I'm getting at is I think a lot of it is based off of he just likes to troll people because he wouldn't be prank calling people all the time and doing all this other stuff. I don't like he might not like Jordan, but I just don't take him that seriously to think that he actually doesn't like Jordan. Like I think he thinks it's funny to harass Michael Jordan fans and get the reaction. It's like saying, I don't know, going to church and saying, Jesus was, Jesus isn't the
Yeah, you're all wrong.
Messiah
Yeah.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like you're obviously going to get a reaction. So I think he just likes the reaction.
Yeah,
So Tim,
I think so too. I think he likes to. Also, the thing about him is he likes to be in control. So anytime you can laugh at that or poke fun at that or something, that also kind of gets him. So I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's like it's a shtick, but he's not like playing the heel all the way through. You know what I mean? He's I don't know. So like it's a little two-faced, to be honest. It's a little weird.
So Tim says his Galaxy sometimes funny though. Questions I seriously have to laugh sometimes. All the comical stuff. He brings trolling to another level. That's what I was talking about, Tim. I don't know if you left the chat or maybe you didn't hear it, but yeah, I think it's hilarious. That's why I even started watching the show. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's got to be an act. Got to be.
Yeah, but the debate that I had with him, and I think I started to bring it up, and why when I host the debates here, I have them separated where it's you can't just talk over somebody, because when he's not able to talk over somebody,
Yeah.
he just goes in circles and doesn't ever say anything.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
but when he's able to talk over somebody, then it might sound like he's got points, but he's not actually having a conversation. He's just got somebody on the background that he's instigating, and then they come back on the show, and then they sound all upset and sounding crazy or whatever. But it's just him not actually having a conversation. So
yeah,
or a debate.
I would love to debate him again though.
Yeah, he won't do it.
No way.
Did I tell you that I prank called him once?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, so I prank called him once. So I had, how I have the voice changer?
Oh yeah. You did tell me this. Yeah. Eventually, you told him it was you.
Yeah, because I was sitting there and I was like interviewing him. I was like, so why do you think? I don't remember what I was asking him. I didn't record it. I was just doing it because I was bored. And so anyway, I'm sitting there talking to him for like 10 or 15 minutes. He's like, I don't hate Michael Jordan. He's like, I just hate Michael Jordan fans, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, after a while, because I have like the deep voice on, hold on, let me see. I think is it this one where I sound real deep?
No, you sound. There you go. That was that one.
It's this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, where I sound real deep. So I was talking to him the whole time like this, and I didn't have the camera on. So I'm like, so why do you hate Michael Jordan fans? And he's like, and he goes on it, and he's like, and then I would change it like every 3 minutes. I'd be like,
oh, so you know, and I just keep going on and on, and then eventually I didn't remember how much I had left, so I just cut it off and I called back in.
And then he decided he's like, is this Dart? And I was like. I just thought it was funny that he knew it was me, and I was like, "Yeah, it's me." And he's like, "Oh," and he started laughing. He's like, "Don't ever call back here, you scumbag." I'm like, "What'd I do, man?" And he just, hung up on me.
Yeah, like you can't
and
take
just told me I was a terrible person for nothing I did, but whatever.
Yeah, he can't take a joke either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't watched his prank calls, but yeah, they seem pretty bad. So. Apparently, he called into the Stephen A. Smith show one time. That's supposed to be, you know how he says he's famous? Like, I would love to know in what capacity he thinks he's famous. Like, what, a prank call to Stephen A.? That doesn't really cut it.
Yeah. I mean, unless he's actually, and I don't know about, like, I mean, maybe he's famous, but I don't know. If anything, like, he might be a local celebrity. Like, we're talking about the whole lawyer thing. Like, let's say he's a lawyer. I actually got a weird email by somebody, and I'd seen him actually put half of his face on before. He was like, you know how he raps sometimes, and I think that's funny too. But he'll be freestyle rapping. So that's when he had his laptop or whatever he uses. I don't know. Like that, I don't even go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, he had like a fatter face, and he had a whole bunch of and it was like a 5 o'clock shadow. And I got a weird email from somebody that had a lawyer's name, and he's like, "I want to set you up with this LeBron." I don't remember the guy's name, but I guess he went viral a while ago. He's like, "I want to set up a debate." So I looked up this lawyer in LA. So I initially was like, "Okay, well, are there any lawyers by this name in LA that actually might be him, that he's just using this?" And it could be. It doesn't sound exactly like him. I went onto the website, but it also was a on show. But, it was like a commercial. So, who knows? But I thought it was funny. I was like, if this is you, email me from your lawyer email.
Yeah, he emailed me from some Telephone Universe email handle, and he's like, "This is not Tug. I'm just wondering. I'll tell you later why I'm asking." And then he just puts the email up on his streams like a month later. I don't know. I have no idea, man. He's a weird guy. He's a weird guy.
Yeah, so he had emailed me from that. He's like, "Oh, do you know?" And it was kind of, you had done this on one of your videos. If you all want to get more details, Nick goes into it for quite a while, and it explains in depth about a lot of this stuff. But essentially, he emailed me from the same email, and he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Galaxy's email doesn't work anymore, so just email me." And then he's like, "I would love to go on your show, but I live in India, and I can't really go on your show." And it was just like, "It's you, dude." Like, like you talk and type exactly the same.
I know it's you.
I mean, I didn't say that.
Yeah, I know.
Like it's funny just to like keep it going, but
God, dude. It was so,
like,
yeah, I remember going through that, and I got on Twitter and I looked up that name, and I was just like, this guy can't be serious. Like, it can't be this easy to just track you down and be like, this is Tug, obviously. God, that was so funny.
Billy Bob Smith, I'm not going to put your comment up on the actual thing just for cursing purposes. However, you said you will put feces in your hand and throw it at him because he throws the N-word around and talks about young girls. He's a real POS. Yeah, it is really weird when he brings all the way he sounds like he's passionate about all of that stuff. He's like, "Oh, and it's weird, man. Like, it makes you think that he actually is into it."
I don't know. Yeah, the other stuff, I want to keep this sports related. I don't even want to get into the other stuff that he talks about and argues for.
Yeah. Let's stay away from that. But yeah, it's weird, man. Like in a phrase, it makes you wonder. But and what I think is funny is like some of, like, not to call them out specifically, but the members on his channel that support him, like his fanboys that are like, yeah, Michael Jordan fans are the worst, and you're right, and they just always just say you're right, like no matter what he says.
Dude, I don't know
Like,
how people can watch his shows for more than like a minute. Seriously, like I only do it. It's funny to do it for like 15 minutes tops, and then it's like I can't listen to this anymore. Like it's just my brain cells are slipping away as I listen to him talk about nothing for however long he's going on.
Yeah, his live streams will kind of, and I'll go. I unsubscribe from him because it just kind of takes away the temptation to see if he's live to jump on there or watch his shows, because he said how much he doesn't support me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna not support you, I guess. But every once in a while I'll go on there and I'll look to see if he does his live streams. And I don't think he's doing them that much anymore. I think he might have scared him off.
No, he's been. I guess it just depends. I see him on every so often, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely does sometimes. He does. He never keeps his live streams though. You know that, right? He doesn't save any of them.
Yeah.
Or he privates them, one or the other.
Yeah, he might. I think I don't think he saves them, because he would have the StreamYard up in the corner like this, meaning he's got the free, so you can only have so many hours of it, I believe. I don't know. It gives you the option to save it on YouTube or and delete it. So I mean, in short, I go and
I'd imagine he keeps them though for the views he gets during the stream. Maybe, I don't know how that works, but
yeah, his 400 views per stream. He's having 300 people watch.
The number
at
5
the
is
same
not
time.
the real number of people that are watching.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the funniest thing, because doing these live streams, like, unless he's restreaming them, but he would say that, because he uses that restream now, but before he would use that, he would say the same thing. And unless I don't know how streaming from 2 other platforms like Twitter, or if he has another account that's his, maybe like he's got a super troll account that's super famous that we're not aware of, and that's where all these viewers are coming from. But on Twitter or something like that. But I don't know. But I think it's funny when he says that. He's like, I have 5,000 people watching this right now. The number 7 up in the corner right there, it's not real. And people always like to say how I don't have anybody watching this show. But guess what? There's 5,000 watching right now.
You guys can't see the numbers, all right? I have the analytics.
Nope. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that stuff's hilarious. But what would you say is since we're on this, I feel like this is probably what's entertaining people the most. So I guess we'll just stick on the subject. What's the worst take you've heard him make? And especially if you were able to argue with him about it. What's the worst discussion you got into with him?
Well, I can't really get into it with him anymore, but what I've heard him say, the Jordan not being top 100 is obviously one I have on that video. And then he also said that John Stockton he thinks is way better than Michael Jordan, which also seems like a really bad take. And then I was once trying, what I would love to engage him on, which you can never get him to engage with any sort of like constructive thought or anything. But I asked him once, is Robert Horry better than Michael Jordan? He said, obviously not, right? And then I go, okay, well, you can just keep doing that process, and that's how you rank players. And his response is that when it's obvious, you can pick players when it's obvious. But I guess once you get into the top, I don't know, I'm gonna just guess like top 50 or something, top 25. that's when you can't rank him anymore, right? And it's just kind of, again, that's about where it stopped. But I would love to like dig into his. He never really, you know him. He doesn't really give reasons why. He just sort of makes statements and then lets them hang there like he's owning the argument, right? But it's not. But yeah, he's just got weird takes, right? Like rings don't matter, MVPs are biased. You know, for some reason, championships matter when it comes to Bill Russell winning championships to dunk on Jordan. But when Jordan wins championships, it's a team game and they don't count. You know, like he just has a lot of there's a lot of bad takes out there from him, which is kind of why I like sniping his stream every so often, because he doesn't show them. So it's funny to, if I'm just at my computer or I'm editing or I'm already live, I'll pop over and just get it on record, right? Because he makes so many really bad takes, right? And that's his shtick, right? But then he can never play the game back and forth with you and engage and tell you how he got there, right? It's just a game to him, right? Like you said, but he's got a lot of bad takes. So Jordan not being top 100 has got to be the worst one, though, I think.
So his main take, which it's funny because he does a sports show, if you want to call it. He's got a sports channel, and he's like, well, you can't rank the GOAT. You know what I mean? He's like, there is no GOAT. And then he goes, and it's like, well, okay, and like you were saying, it's like, well, can you say people were better than each other? And you can give a guesstimate to it, but he's like, there's no definitive GOAT. And it's like, okay, that's fine, but so what? Like, you're just saying that? So yeah, it's an opinion. It's people's, the argument that they make to say who's better. Obviously, there's not like it's not like a number to it where you can measure it. Like LeBron's got the most points. He's got the, you can't say that he's the leading scorer or whatever. But when it's an argument, it's a stinking argument. Like, of course it is. Of course you can't say definitively who the GOAT is. It's not science or something like that. But but yeah, it's just crazy to me. Like, it's always the same thing, man. Like, it's just, he's like, he'll sit there and instigate an argument and say Michael Jordan's not the GOAT, and I think this guy's better than everyone. And it's like, well, who do you think's the GOAT? And he says, I don't think there is a GOAT. And it's like, well, yeah, why are you even arguing with me in the first place? Like,
yeah, he doesn't know.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't know what like a declarative statement is either, because saying you don't think there is a GOAT or you can't pick, that's one thing, right? That's okay, fine. You just don't really want to like engage, which is fine, right? But then you can't also say definitively that Jordan isn't the GOAT. How do you know? If you don't know if there is a GOAT or what a GOAT looks like, how can you say Jordan isn't the GOAT? Like, it's stuff like that where he just says stuff and you're saying like, well, which is it, right? On your last stream, you said Jordan's not top 20, but then I just heard you say he's not top 100. And it's like, what do you use to rank players? It's all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, he that one was pretty silly too, no doubt about that.
Well, that's the thing. He just goes and he'll pull people into it, and then he'll start an argument and then say there's no GOAT, and it's like, well, why are you saying you know what I mean?
You can't do that.
You're playing both sides of the same of the coin. But
yeah, 100%. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've tried to bring that up to him before too, but he doesn't. He doesn't want. That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I just think he picked the right fan base to get somewhat of a following, right? Like, the obvious guy to go after is Jordan, and I guess he's gotten as many people as he has, because it seems like he's seriously trying to do a shtick, but he's so bad at it, and I can't imagine. And then my other complaint with him, right, is his content, right? He just clips out interviews and like little clips, and that's it. And that's all he puts up. And it's just like, man, like, I guess I should do that. I should just clip out interviews and quotes and oh, check out this time this happened, right? And it doesn't add anything to it or what have you, right? But it's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, and yeah, especially on his main channel. I mean, and you were looking at it, and you made you think that he got his channel deleted because of copyright strikes, which makes sense because he's taking these videos and then he's masking them. He's like fogging them up so YouTube can't recognize that it's the actual show, and
Yeah.
then putting it, like he's doing tricks for editing tricks to go and make it seem like it's not that to be for all that. So
Yeah, but just takes no skill. Like that. This is what I was saying. Like he, like some of my videos are like clips too, but I have a lot of videos I've made as well where like it took a lot of time and tedious effort and stuff like that. And like his are just 2-3 minute clips where it's like, hey, check out this Barkley interview, and that's it. And it's like there's just nothing to it. Like it's kind of lazy, to be honest.
yeah, and because I did something similar, except I took radio shows I unlisted them all because, for one, I don't want to get copyright striked. Two, it is kind of lazy, and plus I don't want to, I want to be able to have these live streams and people know me for this sort of stuff, and the interviews and the debates and then just my takes and stuff like that, versus knowing me in contrast like him. They know his channel where he has all these interviews, or excuse me, not him, but he'll clip out the interviews, and then the only way they know of him is the live streams where he pulls them to the other channel. It's like a fishing trick. So it's kind of cheap. Like it seems like that's what he's doing, and I don't know. I enlisted all of my stuff that I B-rolled over and took that people weren't using off of this web, like a free website. That I was using, but I stopped because it's not what I want to do. So that's why I've been sticking to more things of value, or what I'm trying to make more value.
Gotcha.
At least by humor.
Yeah, I hear you.
Like
100%.
my Be a Fan series. I think it's hilarious. Have you seen any of those shorts?
No. Oh, you mean like where they just it's like drawings of players doing whatever?
No, I started this series called Be a Fan. So it's like one of them. The most popular one is when your son dates your friend's ex, be a fan, and it's got like this really sad music in the background. And have you seen the Be a Man series? I kind of took
No, I
that
haven't.
idea from that.
So
So I go back and I just my face pops out at the end where it says "Be a Fan." So, like in the beginning of that video, it's Michael Jordan, the son, and they're hugging, and it's like, when your son dates your friend's ex, and it shows Larsa Pippen.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
It
Okay.
shows them hugging, and then my head pops up, and I go, "Be a fan," and I'm all serious,
Dude.
like and it's sad music.
I
So
can't.
it's just,
What do you think about that? Pippen and Jordan's kid.
oh, it's terrible. But she's
dude.
even like, she's worse for it because obviously she's the one that's in control. But he, the son, he also
So
knows he's
bad.
wrong, but she's really wrong. She's really wrong for that.
Yeah.
She's the adult in that relationship. Oh, so Billy Bob brings up this point. He said so I remember when I first got on his channel, he said he used to work for the NBA. Do you believe that he used to work for the NBA?
That can mean a lot of stuff. I had a friend in Dallas who worked for the Mavericks, I believe, like just doing stats. So like, who knows what that means when he says he worked for the NBA? Like that, knowing him, that could mean he like volunteered at some NBA sponsored fun run or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, who knows what that means? It can't be doing anything serious, right? I mean, if he's a lawyer and that's like how he honestly is, there's no way he's a good lawyer. Like there's just no way. He's got to be a gopher tops. And then he's I guess he's under 30, right? So he's semi young. I mean, I don't know what that could mean.
How do you put him under 30? Or did he say he was under 30?
Well, I've told him I'm like mid-30s before, and he acted like that was older. I don't know. He could be 30, I guess, or something. But that's just the way it came off. I could be misreading that or something, but I would imagine he's probably like in his late 20s. Would be my guess. Yeah. Just a wild guess.
Billy Bob asks, why do you think he won't show his face?
Oh,
I mean, let me answer that first.
Yeah, you go ahead.
It's because he says a lot of weird stuff on his channel,
yeah.
and he probably doesn't want to be associated with the stuff he says. I think that's the number one reason. What do you think?
Yeah, like, I mean, I would never do this, but like you could clip out so much stuff he says, and if you were able to find anything out about this guy, like it would be, again, it's I'm not one of these people who thinks people should show their face on the internet. I think it's totally fine with me if you don't. I'm not one of those people. Like, I honestly don't care. I think it adds credibility if you do show your face, right? And it's something people can relate to and stuff like that. But I'm not a big guy on people should show their face or something. In this day and age, I totally get it. But yeah, I would say the main reason he doesn't show his face is because he wants to be able to push people's buttons and act or not crazy, but say what he wants to say, push the boundary a little bit and not have to be worried about consequences in the morning when he goes to work or what have you, right? So like that, it doesn't really bother me so much that he doesn't show his face, but that, in my opinion, that's definitely why, because he says the stuff that he does. It's pretty. He's got some other pretty controversial takes we don't have to bring up, but he says some pretty, pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, and let alone like the detailed stuff, just the slurs he uses, like those one word bangers that get people angry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And and it's just with everything, like he'll go and he'll just be as insulting as you can imagine with people. He has no remorse for his attitude towards people. He'll just go and just be nasty. And then like the videos that you found on your page where he doxed that guy and was threatening him and saying, "Oh, you're being mean," and
I'm gonna hack into your phone. That's what he told him. And apparently I can't remember if I saw it somewhere, but he called that guy like 12 times or something and left a bunch of voicemails. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like that. And by the way, for the record, Tug has my phone number. When I first came across Tug, I saw that he legitimately every so often would take a caller and debate him, and he has some of those debates on his channel. And of course, me not knowing anything about him at the time, I was like, I thought he literally thought people wouldn't come debate him, and I came across him, and I had some time on my hands, and I was like, I'll call in right now, and I sent him my my phone number. I mean, obviously he has my email. It's not a big deal, but he has my phone number. It's like I'm always like waiting for like some random call or someone to be like, "Oh, we got a call from this guy," or whatever. Who knows, right? But yeah, he has my number too. So yeah, and I would. You know what? We should interview that guy. We should find that guy and interview him.
On
the channel.
That should be your. I would love to take that, but I think it would be better if you did it.
Okay, I'm actually gonna write that down.
Yeah, I think you should call that. You should try and work it out. Yeah. I mean, I'll do it if you want me to be involved with it, but I think it'd be funnier if you did it with him.
I'll see what I can get from him.
Yeah.
Be so funny.
Tim says Galaxy should call his channel the name calling channel. If YouTube allowed that, he would probably do it.
Have you ever heard any of his prank calls? I listened to like a couple minutes tops. They're so bad.
Yeah, they're typical prank calls. I mean, prank calls, they're funny for what they are, but I mean, it's not like
it's hard to pull off like a masterpiece, like a really good one. There's so many kind of variables involved.
I do like his editing with some of them though, where he'll just like cut it right back to like the next call. Yeah. I haven't watched all of them. I've watched maybe like, I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 of them. And same with his on the Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst channel. I've only watched some of his stuff because it's just so ridiculous. I don't think I've ever watched a full debate of his. I think I've listened to maybe like 5 or 10 minutes. And then because they're not debates, and that's what I was trying to bring up before with when he debates, it's not a debate, it's just him over talking somebody. And that's why on my channel I'll let it happen at the back end just because there is some entertainment value to it.
Yeah.
But to the point of if you're going to be having a debate, especially on the internet, and with little rules, it's not like who can talk louder. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's not what a debate is. It's just being loud.
Yeah, I actually couldn't believe. So I don't know about this, but I don't know if Tug's ever debated anybody outside of like his arena besides me. Do you know of anybody he's ever debated like that? That was a big mistake. That was a big mistake.
Well, and me. Well, he debated me too, but mine.
On your channel though?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
But also, I feel like I got a little cooler demeanor, like I don't really go in on people like that. Versus you'll put the hammer down on people when it comes to the debates. I'll sit there and I'm like, I'm a little nicer about it.
Yeah. I think half his strategy is he hopes you get flustered. It's like that's definitely, if you can stay calm, it makes him look even worse. So yeah, I hear that one with Tug. That he probably doesn't like that. He can't get a read on you.
Yeah, and well, it was funny because we did it for about 20 minutes. I think we did. I don't remember how long it was, but I think it was 3 to 5 2-minute rounds or 3-minute rounds, and then at the end, and I had told him about what the time length was and everything like that beforehand. And then at the end of it, he's like, "That's it." He's like, "That's it." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, we talked about it. Like, that's it." And he's like, "Oh, I had so much more to say." I'm like, "I'm not gonna sit here for 2 hours and just hear you say Michael Jordan Fans Are the Worst and not say anything new. Like, come on, man. Like, I'm not doing that."
Yeah, that's why I can't think he's a good lawyer. Like in my debate, it's like you have 5-minute windows, got to get this much in, and literally he would just go round and round and not say anything about basketball, and then at the end he'd be like, "Well, now I'm running out of time and it's a timed event," and I didn't know that, and it's like I don't know what you thought was gonna happen coming into this, but this is not a good look. Like this is you were better off just making an excuse or not doing it, right? 100%.
Well, on the video that you saved, where you were recording it before the debates started, because you recorded before and I believe after I was recording, and it's funnier in hindsight because I had left because my wife had asked me to go check out her hair or something like that she had just got before we had started, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, he started. I was like,
"I'm gonna destroy you."
Yeah.
It was so funny, man.
That really was funny. That was a. Did he debate you after me, or before?
I don't remember, man. I think it was before.
Okay.
It was. Yeah, no, it was definitely before because he decided not to be my friend, quote unquote, anymore. After that.
Damn.
He yeah. Because I thought it'd be good if we could work together, but obviously he didn't want to work with me. It's like, oh well, I'll be the heel on your show, you be the heel on my show, and you can come on and interact with people. And I think it would work well for both of us because, whatever, it's the other guy.
That'd be an interesting dynamic. Yeah, for sure. If y'all guys could pull it off.
But I feel like and I don't know, obviously he didn't want to do it. I think he wanted to at first, but then once I told him I wasn't gonna report your channel, I think he realized that like he couldn't control me.
What a scummy move, bro! I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. Yeah. God, dude, that's such bullshit.
Yeah, it was. And that's why I was like, dude, I'm not gonna report him, but I talked to, I messaged you, like, I told him exactly what I did. It's like, well, I'm going to message you and say, well, I don't want anything to do with this, but if you want to post it, I just don't want to do it because of the language. And, oh, Billy Bob. Billy Bob says he's reported his channel so many times.
Oh my
Billy
God.
Bob. Do you have another handle that you go by? Because that's probably the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
That is really funny.
Yeah, if I know you by somebody else, maybe that's just your name, but if it is just your regular handle, I don't recall your handle.
That's
But
so funny.
yeah, that's the funniest thing I've seen in a while with that. But yeah, Tug's getting all this attention right now.
That's all right. I think it's funny to talk about him because if he sees this, he's gonna rage. He's gonna just absolutely lose his mind.
Yeah. Oh, here's a funny thing that he said. He was mad that I would heart everybody's, because I do heart everybody's comments
Me
for
too.
the most part.
Me too.
And he's like, "Oh, you shouldn't heart everyone's comments, like especially when they don't, when they say something mean about me." And I was like, he's like, "Somebody might try to ban you because they say something nasty," and I'm like, sounds like you might try to, report me the way you're talking about it. Like nobody goes and reports a comment with a heart on it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
unless it's crazy, like talking about very immoral, unethical, or illegal things, which none of them do on my channel, or at least I don't put them on there if they do. Like I have the wait, I forget what you call it, the waiting part of it, like the on hold thing. I got to approve them if they're nasty. It's auto approved for everything other than ones with crazy language and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And he definitely has a few accounts of his own too. Cause after I called in the first few times and he wouldn't debate me, I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna make my own video responding to all the shit he says because I was just like, well, it's good content and like I'll make it a good video and he won't debate me, so like I can kind of like let out all this like shit I want to say in a way, like vent in a way or whatever. And I caught like 2 or 3 of these people commenting, and it was just like Tug talking. And after I engaged with them for a while, more people started popping in there like that's definitely Tug's like alternate account. He's definitely got to have like 2 or 3. And then do you remember that I was gonna debate some Juggernaut handle?
Oh yeah,
I think that might be him too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he hangs out on my page too, and he'll start talking crap to me, and they're talking about paying him to debate. It's like I don't even know who you are. Why would I pay you?
He has 3 subscribers, and it's like you got to pay me to come on your channel, and it's like what?
Yeah. Tim brings up that Galaxy might have some kind of mental issue, and that's what I've said before. I think he does. I think he's got something.
Maybe.
Yeah, at least some sort of some personality disorder where I'm not a psychologist, but he's weird. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, but it's like he also knows what he's doing, right? Because even if you have some kind of mental, like, let's just say he's got bipolar and he snaps and stuff like that, he still knows what he's doing, right? Like, you still know that you're poking the bear and, like, the way you argue, the things you say, right? You know that, like, it's definitely still a shtick, though, I guess, which is, like, why, I don't really feel bad, per se, because I'm just playing along, right? Like, you say call in, and it's like I'm calling in. I feel like, for the most part, I'm not rude. I try to just talk to him, but I'm just straight and to the point. He doesn't like that. Sometimes I might make a joke or two or quip or something, but even if he has some kind of like mental thing, I don't know. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. So like, I'm here to play alongside, and I guess like he doesn't like me anymore or whatever, which is fine. But it's still funny. I don't really feel bad about it.
I just want to remind the audience that 5 up in the corner, it's not accurate. There's 300 people watching this right now. I know you all say, anyway, no, but Billy Bob says that it's Eternal Boss. Yeah, Eternal Boss Juggernaut. I think he's had other names too.
Eternal Boss sounds familiar. Yeah, that one sounds familiar.
And Billy Bob brought up that Rex hangs on his channel a lot. Rex has disappeared, I think, or at least for this week. Hopefully he comes back. I like Rex.
Was it that bad?
I didn't think it was that bad.
I'll have to go watch it, I guess.
I mean, Robin was going in on him, and you know how both of them get. Like, I should have known better to let them only be the only two guests on the show.
Yeah, right. You could have just flipped it live on and then just waited and just said, "Hang on."
I should have known it would have got it to that level. I mean, and again, I didn't think it was that bad, but he left, and then I messaged him. I'm like, and I apologized to him. I'm like, hey man, I didn't mean to let it. I should have moderated better. I didn't mean to, let you get that upset where you want to leave. And then I think I messaged him one or two more times since then, just saying like, hey, would you want to come on and do like what we're doing now? Have a one-on-one live stream, and he hasn't answered me.
I know it's like one of the first times I was on your show, and me and Rex were the same thing. We're going back and forth. I remember you just hopped off. You're like, I gotta go. And we stayed in that room for like another hour or something. And yeah, it ended the same way. Like he kind of hopped off. We were kind of getting a little heated, I suppose. It wasn't anything I don't think overly bad, but like I could see maybe where like he got upset or something. But I immediately I think I emailed him the next day or something, and I was like, hey man, I didn't mean to like end it like that. Like I like talking to you, like I like your opinions and stuff, whatever. No hard feelings. And it was like a week or two later where he's like, hey, just not seeing this. No worry, man. Like I'll see you tonight on the stream or something like that. So he could be gone venting for like 2 weeks, and then he might come back. Who knows?
Yeah, that's what I think is happening. He's probably just like, man, I can't. These kids.
How do I reach?
They don't
these
know.
Kids?
They don't know basketball. I'm gonna go walk away from this and get my cool back before I start talking to him again.
Yeah,
but
he is funny. I sometimes think I think sometimes he likes Tug only because Tug kind of. I think him and Tug don't like 90s or 2000s basketball or something kind of like that a little bit, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the only kind of crossover I could see there where they kind of share the same opinions. Because Politicus Rex thinks MJ's great, right? Like one of the greatest. He doesn't really go after him like Tug does. But probably when it comes to talking about how the greats were before Jordan's time, Politicus probably likes that.
Yeah. So Billy Bob, I'm putting the name of it, or at least the beginning of it. It's in the lives, and it starts off something like this: "Be a Fan podcast featuring at sports and fitness rants." I think it's the third live down. But yeah, if you want to watch that.
Damn, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Come back to us, Rex.
But yeah, I think maybe we should cut it off here. Nice little quick hour and change. But I want to thank you for coming on. I would love to start doing this more regularly. That's kind of my idea behind this, is to just have more live stream for one, live streams, two, just I don't want to say this is an interview, but just discussion based with a guest. It's kind of boring just talking to yourself sometimes. You're like,
yeah, yeah, I agree, man. Like, I probably should do more. Like, I don't know if you saw, I called into, it's called the LA Locker Room or something.
Oh, I called him. I saw you do that, and I called into him too, but he deleted the one that I did because I don't mean to interrupt you, but he was talking about the Dreamers Pro guy, which I'm not trying to like bash on him, but a lot of these guys I really don't find that entertaining.
Oh, like Dreamers Pro?
Yeah, I don't find them entertaining.
Yeah, it's very bland.
But he just kept talking about Dreamers Pro, so I called in, and really I wanted to see if I would draw his attention. So obviously my handle, and I just said Michael Jordan fans are the best, and he's like, "Whoa!" So the locker guy, anyway, I call in, and then I'm like, why do you like Dreamers? Why do you talk about him so much? And I'm like, why are you so mean, Dreamers, bro? Because apparently he was, like talks a lot of crap about him. Anyway, I thought it was funny, but he deleted it. So,
Well, I think
what
the
were you
big
saying?
thing there is Dreamers Pro. I don't think is a big LeBron guy, and the LA locker room guy is. And I think also the locker room guy is I don't want to say a Jordan hater, but I think I think he thinks LeBron is better like than Jordan, I guess. Like I'm sure he's got Jordan up there too, but he's not a hater like Tug, but I think that's the thing is where they overlap or they cross butt heads.
He told me that Jordan was the GOAT when I called in.
Oh, he did? The LA locker room guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because when I called in, it seems like he was making the case. Well, maybe he didn't quite come out and say it all the way, but it seemed like he was making that argument that like LeBron played a tougher Eastern Conference than Jordan did or something like that. And it seems like that's where he was going with it, is that he thinks LeBron is better or has a greater resume or something like that than Jordan, but maybe I could be wrong. I guess maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. He seemed he was, saying racist things to me too. So, who
He
knows?
was? Yeah. His chat was going to me kind of hard too. Yeah, along some of those same lines, it's fine, whatever.
Well, I didn't even look at his chat. It was just him. He's like, "Oh, I can't trust you sort of people." I'm like, "All right, man." And he's like, "Well, but," and then I don't know. I thought it was funny because I kind of made him, kind of stutter over what he was saying. He's like, "What would you do?" Or I forget, but he's like, "What would a white person do?" or something like that. I'm like, "What would a white person do?" or "What would I do?" And then I said a stereotypical white person thing to do in whatever situation.
Yeah.
And then I think it was about working with Dreamers Pro. I'm like, why don't you try to work with Dreamers Pro? And he's like, oh, I forget what he said, but he's like, what would you do? I'm like, what would a white person do, or what would I do? I'm like, well, a white person would probably report him for, I don't remember. I said something typical, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he might have to be my new target. I call in and start getting content from.
Yeah. I didn't record it. I probably should have, but I did it. I just did it for fun. I really haven't done the stream sniping before, and I've heard you say the term, but I didn't really know exactly what it was. But I believe that's what it is, if I'm not mistaken. Right? You just go and
Live stream, yeah, essentially.
Yeah, but chat, I want to thank you for coming. I appreciate all your comments. The intent was not to make it a Tug hater. You know what? I think it might be fun just to make this the Tug hater show featuring me and you.
We start having like an annual thing or something. It's like we replay like the best moments of the year. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I think it's a good chat. Do you think that we should do a weekly Tug hater, or every 2 weeks or something like that, largely based show where we just sit here and just talk about Tug and his stuff? Yeah. I feel like that's too much promotion for him, but at the same time, whatever, man. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
I think
I was thinking almost maybe, like, I don't know when the season starts, if people want to come in, or like, I don't know if you want to change it up, like you bring a story or two, or like do some bets. I guess the fantasy league, you got that, so maybe we could just talk about that, almost like a recap in a way, or what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was planning on doing. That if you'd like to go over it, and I wanted to add, for the people that were interested in doing the fantasy basketball, I'm going to put it out on a community post as well, that the grand prize will be some merch. Whoever wins the whole thing will get a t-shirt. So it.
I meant to wear my t-shirt, but I left it over at a friend's house, actually.
Dude, I don't even know where my t-shirt is.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good shirt. Fits like pretty good.
It's I think it's really comfortable.
I love merch, dude. I'm a sucker for t-shirts and stuff like that. I love having like unique You know, like no one else around me is gonna have a Michael Jordan fans are the best. And even if they did start all having one, I have like one of the first 5 like ever printed or something. You know, I love like merch. I'm a sucker for it.
Absolutely. I'm actually getting a canvas that, you know, like the stuff you put on the wall.
Yeah.
I was going to say MJFB, like, subscribe, and notify. It's going to be hanging in the back. That way I don't have to say it.
Very
you
cool.
know. But yeah, thanks again for coming on, man. Of course, you're always welcome. I'm gonna put it out in the email for our group email to see if we could do one on Sunday. I know Robin says he's available, and maybe OG will come this week. I think he's got work or something. But
Did I win the Nash kid debate?
Last time I checked, it was literally tied.
Dang, dude, I haven't checked in a week or a while as well.
It's so close. Like it's definitely disputable. Like you probably both deserve a draw. Like at this point, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God, it is. It's literally 42% each, and then 16% too close to call. Dang, man. Of course, it had to end like this.
Got to do a rematch on another different subject.
Yeah, I did
Still
win
undefeated.
the team one though. I see. That's nice. I'll take that.
Yeah. But,
all right. Yeah, I had fun, man. I'll do this anytime. Thursdays are kind of my only day that I'm tied up. But yeah, I'm down to do this almost whenever.
Yeah, because I and for the people in the chat, I'm trying to get a lot of these on. So I talked to OG. He said he should generally be available on Mondays. If you want to stick with Tuesdays, we could do that. For me, Wednesdays and Saturday mornings for soccer.
Yeah, I know. I already know about it.
But anyway, thank you for coming. Thanks, chat, for interacting. And Michael Jordan fans are the best. It's always fun to say.
Yeah.
Never gets old.
No. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that went good, man. It was impromptu, but
yeah, it's whatever. People love me and the tug back and forth, so
yeah, it's hilarious.